You're very welcome, Hank. Are you going to Instagram? Okay, he's gonna Instagram. By the way, I can do a fantastic impression of your brother. Close your eyes. Good morning, Hank. It's Friday. That was terrible. Anyway, so next off, could I invite to the stage Emma Blackery, please? She's tiny, isn't she?
Tiny.
Next up, Mr. Casper Lee.
Hey, girl.
Now, next up is the man we've all been waiting for, of course. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Benjamin Cook. We should really have got like the Darth Vader music for that moment. Burp, 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 burp. Fantastic. Who's that? What is that? Please welcome Shauna from Nanaloo. Hello. Okay, this is a big one. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Dan is not on fire! Next up, the creator of some of the most brilliant, what's the word, cartoons and stuff on the internet, Thomas Ridgewell from Tomska. And last, but wait, I need my presenter voice. Last but not least, please welcome to the stage, Crabsticks. Fantastic. So this is our panel, and we're going to begin nice and quickly. Okay. So we'll start with Ben. Ben, what are your opinions on how much should a YouTuber reveal to themselves?
To themselves?
Sorry, to their audience. I'm rubbish already. I apologize.
When I start, can you all hear me? Okay. Oh, sweet. When I started YouTube, I wanted to make a conscious effort not to reveal too much of myself to my audience. Because once you have, you kind of can't go back. I want to be honest with an audience, but at the same time, I'm terrified of doing something, like a lot of YouTubers will do things like draw my life. And I want to be able to play an exaggerated version of myself. You can pretty much split most YouTubers, I think, into those who are exactly like they are in front of the camera in real life. YouTubers like Hank, for instance, is pretty much exactly the same. A little bit more sweary, I suppose, in real life. And then you'll get YouTubers, hopefully like me, or like Bertie Gilbert is a good example, or Chris, who are very, very different. And it's kind of a guard, I guess. It's like a mask. But yeah, I'm too scared to reveal too much about myself, I think. I don't know what it's like for you guys.
I reveal everything except for like exactly where I live. But also, like, you know, you cut parts out of your life. Like, I'm not video blogging the moments where my wife and I have a fight. People are always like, Hank, you and Catherine have the best marriage. And I'm like, well, I sort of do selectively edit the parts you get to see. I don't upload the videos of Catherine and I playing Mario in which we get really mad at each other and scream and then turn the game off because I got in her way when she was trying to jump to the thing. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's important at some point to be very honest, because otherwise people see you as something that you aren't, and it usually is more than you are, which can be dangerous, because then you get this relationship with your audience that's based not on reality, but on this vision of perfection, which is what a lot of celebrity in today's culture is based on. And I think the most interesting thing about YouTube is sort of defying that expectation of celebrity and saying, instead of you thinking that you have this relationship with this perfect person, you have a relationship with a more real person. I think that's more interesting.
Yeah, personally, I like to share everything because, yeah, like Hank said, I don't like the idea of like being built on this vision of perfection. I can't feel like I deserve praise unless people know how awful I am 90% of the time. So when I do something good and people compliment me for it, I want to feel like I earned that. And I do that by most of the time being like, I'm awful, please don't like me. And I overshare everything. Okay, Yeah, I share everything with my audience. Just, I guess it's kind of interesting to see what will happen as well. And I find that people are less crazy when you tell them everything, because people only care about the stuff you don't tell them. If you have a secret, they want to know it. It's like, ooh, what's his secrets? Is he really straight? Is he really gay? Who knows? Now I care. But if you're just like, no, I'm totally straight. Here's the girl I'm dating and all that kind of stuff, then people actually give you more room to breathe, which is weird. Like, you'd think that if you overshared, people would be really like obsessively crazy, like, oh, I know everything about you. But actually, the more I share, the less people care. That's a t-shirt.
Well, I think, like, what was the question? Was it like, how much do people need
How much should you share with your audience?
Was it should, or how much do they need to share? 'Cause
Should.
How much? Because it's like, it depends on your content, you know what I mean? Well, it's like, what is a YouTuber in this world where there's a million different kinds of people that make different videos, you know what I mean? I would have thought that for someone like Phil, Phil is over there, by the way. If you can't see him, he's sat on a chair behind the table. No, that's not relevant. Not relevant. What an attention seeker. No, I was going to say, people like Tom, who obviously, your content, you write it all, you script it all, is filmmaking, and like Shauna as well. It's not based on like vlogging and personality, and even there's a difference between people that make vlogs that are like, because obviously mine are kind of comedy vlogs that are about subjects, as opposed to daily vlogging, which is a completely different thing. So I think that some people, like, how do you feel, Shauna, as a filmmaker?
I mean, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like it depends on who you are and sort of, it's a kind of a taboo word, but what your brand is. Like, if you are really just up there being you, it's duplicitous to be not all you. But if you are up there and, you know, you're half filmmaker and then sharing some of your life on the side, then it's not duplicitous to keep some things personal. And there's a lot of stuff that I don't like to talk about in video form, but I'll talk about like on my Twitter and on blogs, and it's like anyone who really cares will find it. But I keep my YouTube as a little bit more separate from myself. And that's just like what I like to do. And I don't think that there's any right or wrong way to do it. But yeah, I totally agree with what you said, because it all comes down to who you are and what you make.
Any opinions, Chris?
I have opinions. I don't like to share too much because I like to just stick to comedy, I think, for me personally. I think the more I share, the less easier it is to create characters. And I kind of just want to do comedy. I don't really want to tell everyone who I'm going out with and stuff, you know. Kick the sticks is not something I want to talk about, you know?
Because you're busy making good comedy.
Yeah, that's why. So yeah, I keep it all inside me.
Brilliant. Should we move on to the next question? Oh, Casper Lee would like to speak.
Like, I kind of use my YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook as like, hi.
Twitter!
As things that I would use if I wasn't like popular on the internet. So I share on Twitter what I would share with 100 friends, but it's just, yeah. So I think I just kind of like to keep track of my life the way I would keep track of it if I wasn't like a YouTube, whatever. So that's the amount of stuff I would share, anything I'd share with my friends.
Okay, cool. So the next question is, this is a question you're all very excited about, of course. Do the fangirls get a worse rep than they deserve? As I said, it's going to be a very one-sided debate on their half. So let's open with Hank.
Oh, thanks. I mean, what's the rep? What's the rep that the fangirls get?
I think the word fangirl encompasses the rep that they have.
You know,
Like
crying,
a typical
that's the stereotype.
obsessive teenage girl kind of thing. Do you think that's an inappropriate representation of the real person behind that?
Well, sometimes people will come to VidCon and the press will say, the average age of the person at VidCon appears to be a 13-year-old screaming fangirl. And I'm like, well, I mean, we have the demographics, and in fact, that's not the case. But the loudest person is definitely 13. And that's what if you're a reporter with the Wall Street Journal and you're like, what's happening here? That's the thing you see, because you're not used to seeing that. And you don't see the people who are a little less loud. So I think in general, that there are not that many super ultra crazy, run at you, want to get up and lick your face people. Raise your hand if you want to lick
Dan's
a face. See, that's, it's like 5% of you. Nothing against you, 5%, but there's a lot of people here who aren't into the face licking. Licking faces is fine, by the way, as long as you have permission.
Can I lick your face?
Oh, jeez. You've put me in a very awkward position because I can't say no.
I don't think that's a
Lick it, lick it, lick it.
Is that what I'm here for?
There was a flash at the exact right moment, so someone got that.
It's
Thanks,
on Tumblr.
thanks,
You can
Emma.
never
It's
take
nice
that
to
back
meet you,
now.
by the way.
I'm Emma. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that enthusiasm and excitement is never something to be criticized. Is my basic answer. Beyond the actual question of how many of them there are, I think that being excited about stuff is the best thing. And I'm excited about stuff too, just with less licking.
So what is the difference between a fan and a fangirl? So you have a typical subscriber, someone that would say, I'm a really, really interested subscriber, but then what makes someone a fangirl if we're going to talk about fangirls? Okay.
I can't breathe. That.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, the difference between a fan and a fangirl, and I'm using fangirl in the sense of someone who is kind of hyper, really crazy about this one person or whatever. I think the difference is when they stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as just an entity, I guess. And that's really harmful in a lot of ways because they then either build you up or tear you down. And they'll often get to the place and then they feel like they have ownership of you and it's not okay for someone else to like you as much as they do. And it's that's not good for them because you never depersonalize someone. Everyone's a person, you gotta remember that, no matter how great they may appear on their websites, just like Dan.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what we should be saying is that when you use the term fangirl, I think that these days the phrase fangirl has almost become a derogatory term for not just a fan, but like you said, a really, really crazy fan. And so in that sense, it's is the question that are all fans being labeled as fangirls when actually there's just more people that they're fans, but they're not exhibiting the kind of crazy behavior that makes us go, grr, fangirls.
Would you say that most of your audience is fans
Well,
or
that's the thing.
fangirls?
No, because I think what a lot of YouTubers don't realize is that an insane majority of their audience aren't that hardcore. Obviously, when you come to an event like this, most of the more hardcore people will turn up because they want to make the effort to actually get off the internet and go to meet someone. So thanks, guys, for leaving the house. I'm very impressed. But yeah, I think about 70% of someone's subscribers just subscribed to a random YouTube channel and they're like, hey, I like that guy. And then maybe another 20% are fans. But then it's maybe 3 or 2 or 1% are the fangirls. But then everyone seems to be so obsessed with the behavior of a tiny, tiny minority.
I think often what we mean when we talk about fangirls as well is that kind of unconditional love. That's what terrifies me. Loving.
Oh, it's conditional. It's conditional. You can betray this relationship and it.
Yeah, you can get a haircut.
Yeah.
If I did that,
bad haircut, and a number of other things I've seen. Huh? Oh, you're in the shot.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not unconditional. I've seen people mess it up, and I mean, we all sort of have.
I think, though, it is really overwhelming when you see someone for the first time in real life, someone that you've seen online for months and months. Because I was the
literally
same.
did this to Emma backstage.
Yeah, he fangirled over me. It was fantastic.
I've been watching
I loved
her
it.
videos for a long time, and I was like, is she going to be? She's on the panel with me. I'm going to get to see her, and then she's going to lick my face. And
Well,
it all happened.
but I just mean, it is the very first time you actually see a YouTuber in real life, you realize that they are a human. And I think, you go from being someone just on their screen every day to suddenly, and I think it's great. If you're passionate about someone or something so much, then I respect that completely. And I think it's great that you actually, all of you care so much that you're here. I think it's great you have a passion and you love it. The only thing I would ever say is that whether you are a fan or a fangirl, just remember that we're human and we're like you. So when it's a case of, I don't really know what to say now. I dug myself in a rut now. But, you know, when people suddenly, they hyperventilate and they cry and they can't breathe and they have to be escorted, like, that's not their fault. And I would never say, oh, fangirls or anything like that. But I think it's a case of maybe taking a step back and realizing we're just like you.
I also think that what's true of most of, certainly I think the people on this panel and most of the YouTube community is that we like fangirled over each other before we work together.
yes.
Now we're really lucky to be in that position where, like, I fangirled over Casper. I love Casper's videos, and it was fangirling over Casper that allowed me to get him in becoming YouTube. And it's the same with countless other people who you really want to work with, and then you get to and become mates with. But though it's a friendship based on mutual respect of that person's YouTube stuff, mutual respect of their art, but also a little bit of fangirling. There's nothing wrong with that. I would always prefer to be the person, like, obsessed. Maybe obsessed is too strong a word. I would prefer to be the person fangirling over someone or something than the person stood at the sidelines criticizing the people who are fangirling over people and things, if that makes sense.
It's cool to like stuff, yeah!
Woo! We'll move on to the next question now. So the next one, again, another popular one with the audience was, is the British YouTube community something that should be the envy of the world? Which I think, yeah. So I think we'll open. Someone have something to say about that?
I'm not British.
Okay. Well, no, we should probably start with Sean, and then you should talk about another part of the YouTube community, for sure.
I mean, I'm jealous that I don't live in London and that it's not easy for me to collaborate with people like this that are really close. And I think that's something that makes this community probably above any other one on YouTube, the strongest in their collabing ability. I think that's awesome. And that's something that would attract me to this community is like how easy it is to just work with each other. For me, I live in Canada and I live near Toronto, so there's not too many YouTubers going on, like, working there, so it's hard for me to pull a crew together and to get stuff done. But when I come here, it's like, oh yeah, you guys want to shoot? Okay, we're gonna do this. And I was just like, oh, I hate you guys so much. And it's really, really, like, you're lucky to have that, and I'm definitely really jealous of that, and it's really nice that you guys can build on that and keep accepting new people into sort of the fold of what you're doing and to, like, embrace them. And I know that we've seen that over the last year with different people coming in, and, you know, it doesn't mean that people who have been here before are more important or they're old news. It's like, now you're a part of the family, and that's why events like this are super cool, because it's like all the families together. And it's also really intimidating, though, to come into it, because all you guys are, like, super tight, at least in a professional capacity, even if you don't, like, hang out all the time. And that's intimidating for me as someone, an outsider, to come in and be like, to try to sort of fit in. So I don't know.
Get a beer at the pub. I'm trying to be like you, and I'm like, and I don't understand all of the interpersonal relationships, and it's like, who doesn't like whom?
Yeah.
Tell me, 'cause I'm sure there's some of that. But no, it seems like you all. When I first watched, wait, was there a glance that I missed? When I, are you gonna tell me who doesn't like whom?
Dan, you weren't on microphone though.
Do I want a microphone? I was just saying that I hate Chris.
Oh, okay. When I first saw, it's okay. Everybody hates Chris. He's used to it.
The gifts.
Crab scar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Crab scar, it's a thing.
ship that.
When I first saw Becoming YouTube, I was like, oh my God, all these, like, he actually got all of them to sit together, not together, but sit with him and answer these questions. And I'm sure it wasn't easy. It was a hard job, but I got really jealous. I honestly did. When I first saw it, I was like, I wish I was from London, because then I could be a part of that. And then I got to be a part of it because
Exactly,
I came to London. Yeah. Thanks.
I think we're a very friendly and close and quite a tight community here in England. I think that is something to be quite jealous of. I mean, we definitely have our cliques. You know, there's kind of, or at least it appears that way. You've got like the Cheremons and the Foursome and the Blitz, which is mine. It's a real thing. And yeah, but I think it is a very like, it is much more like a family because we all kind of like live a lot closer as well. Like in like America, say, like you have, you know, like the LA lot, but you know, then there's also the New York lot, and it's also spread apart. But in England, you have the London lot, which is basically everyone. Yeah, and that's really cool. I think it's really great that we all work together, and we don't seem to have any real rivalries either. We all like working together, and no one's like success threatens anyone else's. I think we all just like making stuff, and that's good. No one's trying to tread on anyone else, right?
Yes.
I mean,
British YouTubers do seem like, I will often watch like other YouTubers' videos and be kind of jealous that they've done something so awesome, but also like really proud of them. There doesn't seem to be much competition. Like, it's quite a supportive sort of community. Now, having said that, like, competition can be healthy. So maybe that's something that the British YouTube community is lacking and not for the better. But I think it's quite nice that, like, if we see a YouTuber coming up who's really good, we'll shout them out where possible, and we'll support them as far as we can. And I'm not sure necessarily you get that to quite such an extent in the States.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time, and this is mostly past, when there was a lot of competition and sort of infighting, and there were groups that didn't like each other in Los Angeles, and that's less so now. There are so many of them that like there's less interaction between those groups. This is very inside baseball, sorry. Baseball also, you don't know what that is. But yeah, in general, it's just, there's so much, you know, adoration and growth and like there are resources available right now that it would be really dumb to fight over something when it's all growing so fast and we're all having such a great time. And it's really, this is a very special moment, I feel like, in the history of entertainment, that we get to be a part of this brand new thing, and not just be a part of it, but also sort of define what it gets to be. So that's what we're doing right now. It's great.
Casper, what are your thoughts on, in terms of, because obviously Casper is from South Africa, where there isn't so much, not a smaller YouTube community, but very little kind of a YouTube.
It is the YouTube community.
Yeah, well, Casper is the YouTube community, pretty much.
Yeah, a few people. Yeah, I came over here like last year, and I met like some people I just liked hanging out with, and I feel like my little group of friends on YouTube, who you probably all know, have collaborated the best out of everyone else, and that, I'm just really proud to say that. And that's not because we wanted to all gain as many subscribers as we could. It's just because we hung out more, and like, yeah, I think it shouldn't be something that's forced, because as soon as that happens, it becomes business. And my group definitely, I think, should be the envy. Like, we really enjoy making videos, and it works for everyone, so it's pretty good. I think the British community should be the envy of, especially, yeah, everyone else. That's why I came and joined it, because I wanted to be a part of something that cool.
Brilliant, okay. So we'll move on to the last question now before we open up for Q&A from the audience. You down there. So the last question of our Becoming YouTube panel is, how concerned should we be about the gender gap on YouTube, which of course is referring to the relative lack compared to the number of guys really exploding on YouTube to the girls. I mean, obviously, there's people on this panel who are an exception to that. But yeah,
Hey.
so I'll open up with Ben. You sexist, Ben?
I think a woman should answer this question
Okay,
first.
sorry, we'll open up
Yeah,
with Emma. She's not spoken
I think
too
they
much.
should lead the debate, Luke.
Emma, could you lead this debate?
Okay, how concerned should we be? About the gender gap. Well, that's really, really difficult for me to answer, because I don't really have an insight into it. And being a woman, I probably should. I probably should feel more inclined about it, but I don't feel as though I have had such a hard time being a female YouTuber, as many female YouTubers have said. They said it's been a struggle, we've had more hate complaints. I don't feel I've been treated any differently to my male counterparts in terms of hate or anything.
I was talking to you backstage, and you were talking about having a stalker who knew where you lived.
Yeah, I had one guy.
She only had one guy who threatened to barbecue her face.
Just one?
Which is many more, like infinitely more than I had.
Yeah,
And like if
you
I
had
had
none. I had one.
if I had 400 people watching my videos and one of them threatened to barbecue my face, I would not keep making videos. I would go work at Topshop.
Well, I'm a soldier then, aren't I? I dealt with it.
I mean, I'd honestly, like, I've heard and I've talked to a lot of my friends on YouTube who are women and who got a lot more hate. And I'm not saying
no,
that
no,
like,
of
there's
course, no, go
any,
ahead. Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's like I think maybe you're better at ignoring it or just dealing with it or like, you know.
I do feel like maybe
like,
I've had it like
on
maybe
average,
lucky or maybe
yeah.
of more. But I mean, what I'm saying is from a personal aspect, I can't turn around and say I felt victimized, I felt hated, because I haven't. I felt completely welcomed into this community. In terms of like maybe the way that things are segregated with beauty gurus and things like that. Oh, evil part! I'm just looking at you now. I don't see it as they should be separated, but at the same time, the same people that say, oh, you shouldn't separate them, you'd separate male gamers from male vloggers. You'd separate male filmmakers from male vloggers. You'd separate anything. I separate filmmakers from gamers, from vloggers, and everything. I don't know where I'm going with this. You can just jump in. I elaborate on this.
I think being a makeup guru on YouTube is it's a tried and tested route, and there are a lot of women who are very successful as makeup gurus on YouTube. What interests me is how few female filmmakers there are in comparison. And when sort of only 17% of the top 100 most subscribed channels are women or are predominantly female, yes, we should be worried about the gender gap. Subscribers and view counts are not everything. Of course they're not. But they do, the top 100 will reflect the next 100, and the 100 after that, and the 100 after that. And I mentioned this on the Becoming YouTube panel at VidCon, but there have been 86 Academy Awards. And in all that time, the Best Director Oscar has been won by a woman once, 5 or 6 years ago. And that bothers me. And of course, it's really difficult to argue that, especially as a guy, I know that, because you'll get a lot of people saying, well, surely women should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. Who are you to say that women should be directors if they want to be makeup artists or whatever else? And of course, that's absolutely right. But it does make me feel very uncomfortable that female filmmakers just aren't as successful and aren't as encouraged, and you know, on YouTube as well, as their male counterparts. And I think it's a problem, and it's something that it's certainly a discussion that all of us should engage in. And it's a really difficult discussion to engage in.
Yeah, I think that part of the thing that's so interesting about this conversation is that we're having it, whereas it would be so much easier to not have it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a hard conversation to have. It's like you put an opinion out there, and it's very like it's easy for it to be like inflammatory and scary, and like you have to talk about things that people don't want to talk about. Like people often don't want to talk about their stalkers because then that can actually empower your stalker. If you say I have a stalker, then the stalker knows that they're getting to you.
No one knew I had a stalker until you said it
crap,
publicly.
crap.
So thanks so much for that.
I think I would much. Tom Scar has an opinion.
I have
Quickly.
such an opinion.
Go on, Tom, go on.
Okay, so like, yeah, as Ben was kind of saying, like, yeah, I don't know so much about the gender gap, but yeah, there is definitely a genre gap. Yeah, that's a catchphrase. But there is, I really love, I love sketch comedy, and I love, action videos and stuff, and I do definitely struggle to find, female sketch comedy and action YouTubers. I know there are female sketch comedians out there, but I can't find a female action YouTuber. Out of all the Freddie Wong clones out there, including myself, that range from terrible videos to amazing videos, I've really, really, really struggled to find a female action YouTuber, and I don't know why that is. I have no idea, and I just think that's bizarre, and I just don't understand it.
I
that's
understand that.
Okay, please shoot.
But not action.
Yeah, I identify with being a vlogger. That's how I started on YouTube, was doing vlogs and music videos, and I've shifted because I've found my passion for film, and now I identify more as a writer-director. And I still do vlogs and stuff, so that's still a thing that I do. But in terms of the problem that we're addressing, saying genre gap, the most important thing that people need to know is that whether you want to know it or not, and whether it makes you feel like people are being sexist or not, film is a boys' club. It is. and to not address it is doing everyone a disservice. You go work in the film industry, there'll be very few women on set in positions of power. If you're the director, the men will not listen to you. They don't, and it's from ignorance. They don't understand how to take orders from a woman. And it's something that you have to handle with graciousness, and you have to handle with, you know what, you've never had someone competent as a woman like in charge. You're seeing as a woman as someone you tell what to do. And this is a problem in this genre. And I think it is wonderful that women on YouTube have a genre like makeup gurus where it is all them, you know? Like that is something that they have and no one can take that from them. Like I'm sure there are male makeup gurus or the like as well, but that is something that women really do have, and they are not being devalued and they are not being told that they're worthless. We're just addressing a completely separate issue. Is where is Tina Fey right now? Like, where's Tina Fey on YouTube? Like, don't you think that if Tina Fey was born in our generation, that's what she'd be doing right now? She wouldn't be working under a bunch of male writers trying to work her way up on TV. She'd be doing that, and then she'd be running her own show on YouTube. And that's what I feel like, you know, girls need to be watching women that are succeeding and that are pursuing passionate creation, I think, and that's really important. And that's something that I am trying to do, and I find hard to find other women that are doing it. And someone that I love on YouTube, Elaine Carroll, she now works with College Humor. She does Very Mary Kate, and she's hilarious, and she's a wonderful comedic actress. She has incredible range, and she writes, and I don't know if she directs that, but it's like that. That's the one person I can think of, and that's not saying that there aren't hundreds more, but they're not in the top 300 that I could immediately call, and that is a problem, and that can be inaccurately addressed sometimes, because it sounds like you're saying you beauty gurus don't matter and you vloggers don't matter. It's saying, no, you matter very much, and I'm very thankful that you're doing what you're doing and making it so we have less genres that we need to fill. Like, those are pretty well done. But it is, the film genre really does need more people that are passionate about that, and I would love to see women encouraged to create instead of just to follow in the things they think they can do. And it's harder to do that when there isn't someone there that you're looking up to. That's the problem.
I think... I think as well, what's particularly important is that no one should be discouraged from entering into this debate. It's a bit like my earlier point with the fangirls, really. I would prefer to be the person in a video or on stage, or if necessary, standing on a cardboard box on a street corner talking about this issue, than the person stood at the back of the room saying that the people who are talking about the issue are patronizing or insulting or sexist.
Exactly.
They're not. They are engaging with a really important issue. And if you have a problem with that, then shame on you.
Yeah, I'm so thankful to be able to be a woman on YouTube and to be able to make content that I feel like there isn't as much of out there sometimes, and to know that some girls come up to me and they say, you're the reason why I felt like I could try. And that's amazing. That's the best thing that someone can say to me, is like, you made me feel like I can try. And that's just fantastic.
I mean, just last year when I started vlogging, I started my channel in like May last year. All of my inspiration, some of which are sitting at this table, they're all guys. They were all male YouTubers, because in a way, like, I know it sounds quite bad to say and then generalizing, I didn't feel as though there were any female YouTubers. Like, I didn't know any. I didn't see who they were. I didn't know who Carrie was. Bethan was no one. And I think now, a year's time, I'm getting people turn around to me and saying, I started YouTube because of you. You proved that we can do it. And it's not just me who's proved that we can do it, because there's so many more people now. And I just think if you want to create content, it doesn't matter what gender you are, go and do it. You know?
Okay, we're going to open up the floor to some questions now from the audience. Please keep them not evil. I'm going to try and scooch down here. Oh, good God. Ah! Splat.
And we never saw him again.
Okay, we've got a question here. Hey.
What made you pick up a camera and start filming?
My brother. That's the whole story. Yeah, he was my brother wanted to do a thing, and I was like, "You're my older brother, okay?" I don't know why I said yes.
I guess for me, like, I stumbled on YouTube occasionally, like in 2007, 2008, when it was Shane Dawson. I kind of didn't watch it again for a while. Then I don't know how I just started clicking on YouTube videos. I started watching Charlie, Alex, Dan, and Phil, and I thought I could do that. Not in an arrogant way, like I could do that. I meant like I wanted to be a part of it because it just seemed so intriguing. So I went out and I bought a camera, and it wasn't that good when I started. And I kept trying and trying and trying, and it was rubbish and it was going nowhere. And I just carried on. I became my own motivation, and that was it really. I just thought, why not? So I'm not very interesting, am I?
I was just bored.
Why did I say that?
How do I follow that? I found about a year and a half ago that a lot of my friends were YouTubers. With like my journalist's head on, I wanted to document it, and with my other envious head on, I wanted to be a part of it. So I did. And also, like honestly, like it's important to be inspired by people and inspired by people who become your friends. And my first inspiration on YouTube was Chris Kendall. Yeah.
I was watching people like Charlie and Fresned and Jimmy0010, and yeah, and Molly, Mimi Molly, and that was back in 2007, was it? Yes, I think, yes. And I saw them, I'm like, I can do that, and I want to do that. I want to be part of that. I want my voice to be heard, and I want to be able to talk to people and affect people like they do, and that's what I really wanted. And then through the years, it became more about expression and finding like my creative voice, and yeah, it's been an interesting ride.
For me, I have been watching YouTubers since like the beginning of the website. Like you said, like the first vloggers ever, and I was basically just a YouTube fan for about 3 years. But literally the whole time, I'd watch a community channel video or a Shane Dawson video, or a Charlie video, and I'd be like, I could do this in a way that I have creative ideas and I want to, but I never got the motivation to do it. And then obviously, as you guys will know, the story is I met Phil, and it was him that, well, it's like, much like Emma, I think that eventually I might have started, because I've been obsessed with YouTube since the beginning of the website, so I think I always would have become a YouTuber, but as a horrific procrastinator, Phil was like, okay, well, you know, I'll tell you how to make a video, so go do it. But I literally got started just from watching people like Charlie and Shane Dawson and Community Channel and going, I want to do my own versions of that, basically.
Next time I tell a joke and I feel it's not going very well, I'm just going to say amazing Phil and just pretend. I'm funny.
I tried that once, Tom, with Harry Potter.
No. And how did it go? Well, but yeah, for me, I knew I wanted to entertain people back when I was around 10 years old, which was a while before YouTube. And at first I was like, I will be a cartoonist. And then I realized I was terrible at that. So I started filming things. And the first things I filmed, still before YouTube, were me running into things. Like, just that. And there's so much of this, just me running into things and then falling over. At one point, I put a sleeping bag over my head and ran into a thing. And a variety of things. And this was before YouTube, so like this wasn't welcome on the internet. No one wanted this. But yeah, so when eventually YouTube showed up, I finally had a home, and now I basically still do the same thing. It just looks a bit better.
Okay, we're open for another question now.
No, Chris.
Wait, hold on.
Well, okay, Chris, off you go on.
Well, basically, like, I'm quite similar to you, actually. I just enjoyed filming myself. Not like that. Just like, I filmed like Star Wars scenes, but with my cats, just because it made me so happy. And like, I had no intention. This was before YouTube. I've just kept these videos. I don't know what to do with them, but they're great.
Please put them online.
I don't know how, but yeah, like, I just love filming stuff and making myself laugh, so it's just, might as well put it somewhere.
Okay, well, are we okay to ask another question now?
Yep.
Okay.
What's your attitude to fans buying gifts?
Sorry, what?
Fans buying gifts.
Fans
I
buying
can answer
gifts.
this as someone who is, like, I literally have like a pile of stuff in the other room. It's incredibly flattering. It's like, well, there's a difference between like buying gifts and making gifts, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think that anyone is better or worse if they don't bring you something, you know what I mean? If someone just wants to say, hi, I really like your videos, that's not worse than someone who gives me a bucket of Maltesers. But like, If someone makes you something, then obviously they've taken the time to create something like a letter or like a piece of art or something like that. It makes me feel slightly strange when I see that someone has bought a gift, because obviously like that would make any of us feel weird that someone spent money. But if that person says, I really, really like you a lot and I saw this t-shirt and I wanted you to have it and I've given it to you, I'm not gonna feel like really disgusted and horrible. I'm going to be like,
no, I don't want it.
I just think it's really nice. You know what I mean? It's like a bunch, like someone was like, hey, I saw this thing with a cat on it. I thought you should have it. And I'm just like, thank you, you know?
I have one rule, and that's no food.
No food?
Like, I have been roofied, and I have been given a cake with pubes in it.
Aww.
Why would you want me to eat your pubes? What is wrong?
I love pube cakes.
I mean,
I get them every con.
and I hate this because
great.
before that instance, I was once given a cake, and it was the best cake I'd ever had, and now I can't eat cakes that people give me, and it's
so sad.
and by the way, how are you thin, Dan?
I
You
don't
get given
eat-
so much
like,
chocolate.
Literally, it's like we can't eat all the chocolate, you know what I mean? So it's like an exclusive fact here. I'm going to be honest about something. When me and Phil get given probably about a cube of candy this big, we leave most of it behind because otherwise we'd be dead if we ate it all. So I'll usually be like, we haven't tried that before, haven't tried that before, haven't tried that before, which is still probably way too much than we should be eating. And I'll be like, I'm going to be depressed on Thursday night, so I'll take this box of Maltesers. But then the rest I usually give to my friends because if I ate it all, I'd be really, really sick and die. So
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you don't appreciate it
no,
because
but it's just like I can't eat all of it.
Dan has a lot of fat
I
friends.
appreciate the effort. But
yeah.
I think like a really important point is I think a lot of people maybe buy us gifts almost like a thank you, as if to say thank you for being here. But just the fact that you watch us and you support us is more than enough and more than we could ever ask, because you're the reason that we're doing what we do. So, you know, I just think, I mean, I get given like loads of bottles of Coke, which is great because that's all I drink. But I mean, when I'm given like bags and bags of Doritos, I keep them, and I do, you know, I do eat quite a lot of Doritos. But, you know, I don't ever, I don't like the feeling that some people will come together and think, oh, they've bought so-and-so a present, I didn't buy them anything, they're going to think I'm really ungrateful. And that's not the case at all, because we are just so grateful for everyone just supporting us by watching what we do, liking what we do. And you don't have to give us a gift to thank us for any of that. You know, we should be thanking you. So we should be buying you gifts, but I shouldn't be saying that.
No. And, well, I mean, like, this sounds really awful to say, but one of the best ways to actually support your favorite YouTubers is to just buy a t-shirt or something, and not through eBay, for God's sake, through, like, their actual official vendors. That's a really great way to give back to someone who you like. And every now and then I go online and I just buy a shirt from one of my favorite YouTubers.
I own like 9 YouTube t-shirts. Like, really. Yeah. No one on this table though. Awkward.
Fine.
Yes.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. That's fine, Dan.
I mean, I came up with like an idea while I was in South Africa. We were doing a thing for Nelson Mandela Day. And I think we need to start doing it at like events like this, is rather bringing gifts for the YouTuber, bring gifts and the YouTuber can give it to like a charity, like Stop Hunger Now, or what's the other one, like Toys for Children, or I think that's the way forward, to be honest. Like, we don't need that many toys.
Maltesers for Africa.
Yeah, someone donated, well rather they sponsored a howler monkey for me and Phil at VidCon. So they were like, we were going to get you candy, and we were like, okay, where's this going? And they go, but instead, we sponsored a howler monkey. And we were like, that's the weirdest and kind of coolest thing ever. Just like, yeah, my gesture of thanks is I sponsored a howler monkey for you. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Moving on from howler monkeys, should we ask another question from the audience? You ready? You ready for another question?
Yes.
Oh, we're ready.
Yes.
We've got time for 2 more questions, I think. Who thinks they have a really important question? Everyone just put their hands down. Important question.
It's not going to be important.
What are your thoughts on smaller content creators who put in a lot of effort in making videos that are really high quality but are not getting the views?
It sucks.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think the important point is that, you know, I think a lot of people get tweets and stuff saying like, you know, oh, can you check out my videos and stuff? But the thing is, we get so many of those. I don't know if you do. I get so many of those a day, and I feel so bad that I can't help people out, because the main point is every one of us in here and everyone that vlogs here started with 0 subscribers. We all started the same, and we're always going to have that in common. I think everyone knows what... No, you had zero. You started your
Ben,
account, you
100,000.
had zero. I mean, you might have had a bit more help by name dropping everybody. But I mean, like, everything, I keep saying that. I rose kind of quite quickly. In a year, I got 300,000 subscribers, which is ridiculous. And it's more than a lot of people got. But I still remember having 10 subscribers and 20 subscribers and thinking, why can't I put my stuff out here? Why aren't bigger YouTubers watching me? Why are they so ungrateful? Why won't they help the smaller people? And it is now that it's turned back on me, I feel bad that I can't literally click on every video and like it and help everyone out because I know what it's like.
I think, yeah, no, it is really hard, I guess, if you are a smaller YouTuber and you're feeling frustrated at not getting the views, not getting your stuff out there. What I would say is just make your stuff as good as it can be.
Don't
and I know
say
I
that
can
again.
get
Don't
in
do
trouble
this.
for
Don't
saying
say that.
but when someone tweets me and says, please will you check out my channel, it'll often be followed by, I know what's there at the moment, it's not very good, but there's some great stuff coming, I swear. Or people's first video on a channel will be, this is what this channel is going to be. It's going to be, there's going to be some sketches and there's going to be some vlogs. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Put up those sketches, put up those vlogs, make them as fantastic as they can be. Because I personally, I read every tweet I get, I read every email I get, and I watch every single one of the Becoming YouTube video responses. And there have been over 1,000 of them, ranging from 45 seconds to 15 minutes, and I watched them all. And like, there were some gems amongst them, and an awful lot of not so good ones, perhaps. But like, if you get a YouTuber's attention and they check out your channel, make sure that what is on that channel is as fantastic as you can make it. And I think a lot of people don't know how hard it is to make, like even you know, the best vloggers, that like people, I mean, there's very few people who are better, I think, than Jack and Finn at just talking into a camera and relating with an audience. But what they do is so much harder than they make it look. And I think that's true of most YouTubers.
Definitely.
So appreciate how hard it is what I'm saying.
Can I just really quick, I know I'm hogging this and really butting in, but when I did start my channel, the first video you see on there is a vlog now, but before I started doing it, before I officially released that first video, I made about 2 or 3 practice videos that I wasn't entirely happy with. I kept practicing and practicing and practicing. I got, okay, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world and it could open a world of can of worms, but I bought a DSLR before I started vlogging. I wanted it to be the best quality I could, and I know they're expensive, but I wanted it to be the best quality I could. Sounds really sad. I studied other YouTubers. I watched how they jump cutted, why they did it, how they did transitions. I made it quick, and I say funny, I don't know, it's subjective, but I made it what I was really happy with at the time. It wasn't an introduction video like, hi guys, on a webcam. I wanted to have that sort of impact, and I think that really did help. So if you are thinking of starting, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a £600 camera to start with. There are flip cams that are like £120, and they're like 1080. But I'm just saying, before you start, make sure, try and get the confidence and study your favorite YouTubers, what you want to be like, and not copy them. Maybe I
think I think when you're studying other YouTubers too much, you're going to inherently copy them. So
yeah, but I mean, we're all copying each other to some extent. Like, you know.
Influence.
Yeah,
that's the nice word. It's
let
influenced by them.
You. Yeah.
That's what I use.
I would also say that like, we all, as top creators, have a responsibility to try and find those people and promote them. It's very hard, and I often will tweet out, you know, the same person like 5 times, and their counts will slowly go up. But it's not like, you know, if it's
we're not a fast track.
Yeah, no, yeah,
it's
not
not like, oh, Hank Green liked my video. It's going to have a million views.
There is no fast track. That's what it seems like. A lot of people, when they start, they think like, oh, I need to get like so many views or else I can't do this. And it's like, no, you need to do it and do it well, and then you'll get the views. And when I was starting and I was worrying about stuff, I was talking to my dad, and my dad was like, stop. Good work speaks for itself, so do good work.
But I think that is easier for people to say once they've made it, because like we're all saying that we're coming from our experience and we finally got there. So there are going to be people who are just never going to get that luck, because I think so much of it is luck.
But
I think you shouldn't be doing YouTube ever just to get the views. So that shouldn't even be a part of it.
But what I'm saying is, it goes back to my point, is that everyone on this table started with 0. And it depends on how much work and time and effort and perseverance you have, you know, and how much effort you really, you know, it is luck. You do get lucky. I got lucky. I don't know if I deserve to have what I have. Some people will say yes, some people say no. But I think it's like maybe, it's risky saying this, 1 part skill, maybe 9 parts luck. And that's a really horrible thing to say. but I'm being realistic. But if you don't go out there and try your hardest and make it the best you can, then you'll never know, and you'll be thinking, could I have done it better?
Yeah, I mean, go watch the first Vlogbrothers video. If that video went live today, no one would look at that ever. It's terrible. But in 2007, it was fantastic. It's much harder now than it used to be, and we're very lucky, my brother and I, that we started so early.
Okay, we've got to take one last question before we finish in 4 minutes. So, who has a really, really interesting question that will spark 4 minutes of really interesting debate? You do.
Oh, God. What do you think about fan accounts on
Twitter.
What's it that I don't...
What do you think of fan accounts on Twitter?
Oh.
Not Dan and Phil fan.
You know, like I
I'm
heart Hank Green and
I'm
things
pro
like
them. I'm pro those things. Mostly on Tumblr, though, is what I follow. Fan Tumblrs more than fan Twitters.
Some of those scare me a little bit. There was a GIF. Yeah, I say GIF, not GIF. Of
GIF.
like, it was me, you, Luke, wasn't it? Me, you, Dan and Phil edited onto a video by Billy Piper, and it's just like.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
That was. I think we've all seen it.
Yeah.
That was. I really liked it actually. But I mean, I think there's different sort of levels of fan accounts. You can talk about maybe like ones that just have maybe a picture of me or Dan or Ben or whatever as a picture, and they just tweet normally. And then you get ones that will tweet you every 43 seconds, like follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. You know, and I think it's just different levels of what they're talking about,
I
really.
think the most entertaining one I've ever found, and she might be in this room, which would be brilliant, is one called Imagine YouTube, which has all these like really weird situations with different YouTubers. I feel like she's watching now. Anyway.
Imagine Lukeisnotsexy holding our first newborn baby.
I love Imagine's blogs. They're my favorite thing. And just, do you guys know what an Imagine's blog is? Put up your hand if you do.
Oh, wow.
So most people, for those of you that don't, it's when people go, imagine the moment when Ben Cook looks you in the eyes when you're getting married and stuff like that. I think that, okay, so that's my personal one. I don't think many people get that creeped out by them. I mean, obviously it's a very like young, adorable thing for people to, Tom's not
That
afraid
sounds
to admit
creepy.
that. But I just love the level of sarcasm that most people have against them as well. Like, I think I have more like troll Imagines blogs where people are like, the first time you go on a killing spree with Dan and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's just because I attract people with the same sense of humor, I guess.
My favourite fan account by a country mile is now Becca. Is it Becca Hodgkins? Just brilliant.
That's actually run by my friend Amy, which is interesting.
She has quite a few accounts now, but there is only one genuine one, and that's at Becca Hodgkins. So.
You need to get that
Yeah.
verified.
Oh, is that? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
there's a
okay,
brand
top
new one.
one.
She's got a
Maybe
Tumblr
then.
and a Keek and a Snapchat.
You seem to know a lot about her, actually.
Very recently.
She's a friend of the family.
Yeah.
Chris, to what extent do you think your Becca character represents the typical YouTube subscriber?
Good final question.
I got a little bit of hate about Becca, and just a little bit. There was like a
It was
Tumblr
edgy.
post. But I honestly believe that Becca is a spoof of enthusiasm than, you know, fangirlness. She's just a very passionate person, and I just enjoy playing her. I swear to God, I have like had so much fun creating that character because I get to interact with YouTube the way I want to.
Yeah.
Like, I get to fan accounts and I get to spell things wrong and then not have to freak out about it because she's just a bit more, she's a more fun person. So it's an inspiration thing. I'm not taking the piss.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's all we got time for, I'm afraid. Sorry, everyone. Well, but thank you very much for coming to the Becoming YouTube panel. We love doing these things. Thank you especially to Hank, Emma, Casper, Ben, Shauna, Dan, Tom, and Chris. And I am Luke. Goodbye.